everyone, my name is Chris. Welcome to my channel, Crafting Chris. I know I've had an influx of some new subscribers in the last few weeks, thanks to a shout out from my good friend Gail over in Australia. Hi Gail, thanks for the shout out. So if you're new here, welcome on in, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Let's sit and visit for a little bit, and I'll share what I've been up to in the last month. So some statistics since you last saw me. Since my last video, I've worked on 10 WIPs. I've had one new start, which technically I'm not calling them new starts because I have a number of series that I'm working on. So it was just another part of the series that I hadn't started yet, but that's my new start. I've had 2 finishes and I fully finished one of my projects. So let's get started. We're going to start with some of the WIPs that I worked on. So there's a few things that I worked on in the end of January. So the first one was this Chipping Sparrow Biscore Nest by Crossed Wing Collection. I'd been working on this last month, but I did a little bit more. I had completed, that's the bottom of the nest, and I had started the top of the nest. So I just have a little bit of that top corner done. Where that little cutout is there down at the bottom, that's where the little 1/1 eggs will be. So that's how much I got done on that. And that's, I'm stitching that on a 28 count tea-dyed linen with DMC threads. The next one I worked on, a lot of people like this Christmas Village. So I worked on this a little bit that last week in January and completed a little bit. I'd had a page finish, I think, when I showed it to you last. And I'm going to try, I'm starting to play around a little bit with editing. So I'm going to try and insert a photo, or maybe I've already done that. Insert a photo of what it looked like the last time you saw it. If I can't get that to work, I apologize for saying I'm going to insert a photo and then don't, but we'll see how it goes. So yeah, so I'll insert a photo of what it looked like last time here. And then this is where I am at now. So you can see where the page break was there, and then I started the top of that third page over there. So I did the top of the mountains. I thought I would get a lot of that boring white stitching for the mountain caps over with first before I moved down onto the houses and trees. So that's where I'm at with that one. And that's stitched on a 32 count lamb's wool linen with the DMC threads. Up next, the last week in January, I did a little bit more work on this cotton and twine subscription box from November of 2019. I'll insert a picture of what it looked like the last time you saw it here. And this is what it looks like now. So I finished that first tree and I've started on the second tree and did a little bit more of the border. So yeah, this is really a really fun stitch. And I've never stitched on this polka dot fabric, so that's kind of interesting. So yeah, that's I think a Zweigart, a gray Ada. I'm not sure what it's called with the dot. So the next one that I worked on, so then I was into February, and so I picked 2 new focus projects for February. So one of the ones that I picked, oh, sorry, I'm gonna back up a little bit. So yeah, beginning of February, so a new tree was released for the mini tree hugger cell by Carolyn Manning Designs. I might have a picture. So that's it there, the mini tree hugger stitch along. 2021, so every month there's a new tree. And she does give you a layout if you want to stitch them all in one piece. So the one with the little blue bird was the first tree, and then that one with the striped trunk was February's tree. In the layout, she does have a border around the trees, but I've left it off for now because I want to see how they're laid out, whether I feel I need it or if I don't want it. But anyway, now it's just fun getting a new tree every month and stitching it. So that's the mini tree hugger cell. So then I picked 2 new focus projects for February to work on during the week. So the first one that I picked, I actually finished, so I'll show you that later with finishes. The second one that I picked was the another Carolyn Manning Designs. It's a stitch along from 2019 that she put out. So she calls it the Granny Square Temperature Cell. So each of those little squares is one day of the month, and she gives you a chart with the different temperatures. So I am stitching this for last year, so for 2020, kind of as my commemoration of the year life as we know it changed. So I'm done. I'm done January, and I'm more than halfway through February, I think. So lots of blue because, of course, here in Canada it's pretty cold in January and February. But I'm looking forward to getting into spring and getting to stitch with some different colors because I'm basically stitching with about 4 different blues right now. So that was that one. And both those ones, I just had some old 18 count oatmeal Ada that I've stitched those on. So the next one was a weekend stitch from in January. And it's this Lizzie Kate 4 Seasons, and it's the winter one. So this was technically my new start. It's from this 4 Seasons. I've done 2 of the seasons already. This is the 3rd one. And that's where I'm at with that one. So I'm just starting to do some work on the house. I kind of do a length of white and then I go do something else more interesting, then do another length of white. So there's still a fair bit more white below that sleigh. And then there's the border down at the bottom. But yeah, that's fun. It's fun to stitch on. I'm stitching that on a Monaco, like an even weave 28 count that I dyed myself with some RIT in a sort of a tan color. And I'm stitching it with the called for Weeks Dye Works, although I am switching a few colors around, and I've decided for the house it's called for I think it's dried sage, and I'm not a fan of that particular green color. So I'm using the DMC substitution, which is just a little bit more saturated green. I just like the color of it better, so that's one change I made. So the next one that I worked on was this pattern from Etsy. It's just called Stallion by Anna Duplant. And this is kind of fun because she charts, well, she gives you a regular chart like you would see with any other pattern, but she also charts each color individually. And I thought it would be, I normally park when I do full coverage, but I thought it would be fun to try color completing when she was making it so easy to color complete. And then I want to sort of take a picture as I finish each color and then sort of have like a, you know, progression. I can do like a little slideshow of a progression of the colors being added. So, so yeah, so I will put in a picture of where I was before the last time that you saw it, because I've completed 3 colors, I think, now. And at the end of the video, if you care to stick around, I'll put a slideshow of close-ups of all of my projects, but I'll do the progression of the colors that I've done on this so far. But here's where it is right now. So again, not looking too much like a horse, but you're starting to see, I think like this is his muzzle down here, and you can see that's like his eye there, and then I think his mane's all blowing over this way. So it is a challenge, and I keep telling myself, you see I've sort of marked where the corners are of the pattern, so it makes it easier when I start a new color where I'm starting. But because, you know, each color chart only has that color, you can't even reference the prior colors you've done, you know, unless you flip back to the chart that has all of the colors on it, and then you've got to hunt for the symbols. But I'm just counting and double counting and counting from different reference points, and so far, fingers crossed, it's all worked out. Because down in here, there are some 2 different browns that are kind of nestled together, so it's nice when it works out that they line up the way they should. So yeah, so I'm having fun with that one. It'll be fun to watch it, the picture gradually emerge. So that's Stallion, and that again is on that 18 count oatmeal Ada with DMC threads. So another one that I worked on was the DMC chart. By Men on Wool. It's a pattern I found on Etsy. And I'm really enjoying this, and while I was stitching it, it's kind of thing, you know, it is kind of cool because if you are trying to substitute colors or, you know, create a pattern, it's even, in my mind, it's even better than just looking at the floss on a bobbin, or, you know, even, I'm wondering, the DMC color card with the actual threads on it, because you're seeing it stitched. So you're seeing what it looks like on the fabric. Because I know some colors, I see them on the bobbin, and then when you stitch with them, they you know, they maybe don't have that same intensity, depending on what fabric you're using underneath, kind of thing. So, but I'll put in a picture of where it was before, but basically, actually I may not have a picture of this, so I may not be able to, but basically I've just added another color family. So the 4th column is where I'm at. So yeah, it's really fun pulling all the colors and seeing the color palette together. So this one was all a lot of purples. So yeah, so that's kind of fun. So then, and yeah, that is just an 18 count white Ada. So that's kind of all of the WIPs that I was working on, and my new start is kind of mixed in there too. So I have 2 finishes. So the first one I will show you is this Lizzie Kate Celebrates, and this is Boo, or the Halloween celebration. And I'll try to put in a picture of where I was at before, if I have one. I may not. And there's that. So I have one more in this series to complete. It's the 4th of July one, or Independence Day. But Lizzie Kate does have a conversion for Canada that we just changed it into sort of like True North kind of thing. There's still a lot of blue in it, but that's okay. So yeah, so once I finish that one, then I have an idea of how I want to fully finish all these. So hopefully I can show you that in the future, the not too distant future. I'm really enjoying the way I've sort of set this up, because I am finding, like, picking those 2 focus projects, I really get a lot of progress on those 2, but then I have the weekends to break it up, you know, where it's something new and it's random. I don't know what it's going to be, and that's always fun to see what you get to pull out and work on for the weekend. So yeah, it seems to be working well, and I'm looking forward this year to maybe getting some of these series completed, getting some of these WIPs that have been sitting for a long time and get them done so that I can add in some newer things. So my other finish, which is a full finish, was my Star Trek alphabet by Clouds Factory that I was doing for my husband. I started this back in StitchCon in June of 2019. It really doesn't take that long to stitch if this was a focus project and that's all you're stitching on. You could easily stitch it in a week or two depending on how much time you had to stitch and how fast you stitched. So I will try and put in a picture of what it looked like the last time I worked on it here, if I have one. But now, lots of reflections. So there it is. And yes, I ironed that Ada, trying to get all the wrinkles out. And it looked pretty good. And I thought when I stretched it, because I pinned it, that, you know, the few that were there would pull out, but I can still see them. But it's just going to hang in our rec room downstairs. It's not going to be seen by hundreds of people, so I think that's okay. Anyway, so that's my fully finished project, Star Trek Alphabet by Clouds Factory. You may notice, if you've taken any time to look at the different characters on there, read the names, there are 2 extra characters you maybe haven't seen in any Star Treks, and that is my husband, who I called Captain Bev. His name is Bev, and I put him in a Next Generation captain's uniform, and then I put myself as my way of signing the piece as Dr. Chris, because I'm a retired veterinarian, and then the year 2021. So I just thought that was a fun, cute, personalized thing to do. So those are my WIPs, my new starts, my finishes, and my full finish. So the next segment I wanted to talk about was what's going to be a future start. So in this segment, I'm going to try and kit something up every month and put it sort of in a bin as a new start bin, that once I get some of my old WIPs completed, I can start adding in some new things. So I'm cheating a little bit this month, but because this is a kit, so I didn't have to kit it up, but it is one that I do want to start in the future. I have owned this kit for a long time, before I ever discovered Flosstube, but when I was just getting back into stitching back in 2017, 2018. So it's obviously a Dimensions Gold collection. It's called Winter's Hush. I have seen a few people show this on their channel, but I just love it because it's got the 2 dogs over here, and then there's a cat on the windowsill, or sorry, on the banister of the porch, and it's just such a pretty scene. So yeah, it comes with the floss already sorted, which is great. It comes with the Ada, which I'm gonna decide when I do actually open the kit up and go to start it, how much of the fabric is showing, like how much is stitched and how much is not stitched, and then I'll decide if I do want to switch to an even weave, or even, yeah, if there's a lot of fractional stitches, I may switch to an even weave of some sort. So but yeah, so that's going to be my future start. So haul, I don't have any haul this month, but that's okay, because I got a lot and I am still waiting on a couple items that are back ordered. So my plans going into March, I still have the rest of this week in February and this weekend in February. So my focus projects that I'm working on, one is the Granny Square Temperature Cell. When I finished my first one, which was the Lizzie Kate, Lizzie Kate Boo, that was my focus project for the month, but I didn't have much left to do on it. So when I completed that one, I spun my wheel again for a new focus project, and that was Star Trek Alphabet, which I also finished. So then I spun it once more for this week just to have a focus project to work on, and it's the Lizzie Kate's 4 Seas in the Winter. So I'm going to work on that today and tomorrow, and then I'll work on the temperature cell on Thursday and Friday, spin the wheel for a weekend spin, and then next week we'll be into March, and I'll pick 2 new focus projects, and we'll carry on from there. And so far that's working, so I'm going to keep doing that. Oh, I was going to do a peek into my Etsy shop, and I forgot to bring the items I was going to show you. So I'm going to pause for a second, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. So last video, I had shared a little bit that I was kind of getting into doing some patchwork or a little bit of quilting and experimenting with using that in some of the bags that I was making. And I showed you some vinyl front bags that I'd made. So I played around with some more fabric. So this is another one that I made. And again, these are vinyl front, so the patchwork is sort of the lining piece of the bag. So that was kind of fun, some sort of Valentine-like pink fabrics. And then I've also been playing around a little bit with making some non-vinyl front bags. So this is a patchwork bag with a zipper on the top, just a white lining. It's really squishy. Some quilt batting in there. So that's fun. I really like those fabrics. They're very spring and fresh. I also wanted to show you some other bags I have in the shop. I think it's one of those ones where the fabric doesn't photograph very well. I just think it's really pretty. So I thought I would show it to you here on video to see if you get a better idea. So it's this blue hydrangea. And you can sort of see like there's sort of metallic or shiny gold in there as well. So it's really quite pretty. And then for the inside, I've got sort of like this honeycomb, and you can see too, it also has a bit of a shimmer, sort of a silvery, and there's actually areas that are a little more goldish like. Sorry if you heard that rumble, that it's a little bit mild today. Mild meaning like it's probably 32. But we have a steel roof on our house, so the snow comes off when it gets mild. So that's that one. And then this is the same fabric line, just with a dark background instead of a white. And the same fabric on the inside. But those are really pretty. So yeah, so that's a little peek into some of the things I have in my shop. I'll link it down below if you're curious and want to go and check things out, but no pressure, don't feel you have to. So the last thing, or what I like to finish my videos with, is what I'm calling a craft from the past, where I usually show something that I've crafted or created or done in the past. But I kind of thought it might be fun today, since I showed you the Star Trek alphabet that I finished for my husband. I have created 2 other of those Star Trek, or not Star Trek, I've created 2 other alphabets from Cloud's Factory for my 2 daughters in the past. So I thought it'd be fun to show those to you today as my craft from the past, even though it's more cross-stitching. So the first one that I ever made was for my oldest daughter, who is a huge Harry Potter fan. So for her, I did the Harry Potter alphabet, starting with Albus Dumbledore. And then you can see down here, same thing. I think it started when I created this as a gift for my daughter. I thought she would get a kick out of it if she found herself within this alphabet, but I didn't want to substitute her in for one of the characters, because I think all the characters they've picked are fairly, important characters. So I decided I would just add her at the end, and then I did want to sign it and date it somehow. So then I figured, well, if I'm adding Becca in, I might as well add myself in. So so Becca is a Hufflepuff, so I put her kind of in a similar outfit to some of the other characters and just use the Hufflepuff colors. And then I did one of the many online sorting tests, and I was a Ravenclaw, so I dressed myself in another one of the outfits, like Ron over here. No. Yeah, Ron Weasley. So my outfit is similar to his, just with the Ravenclaw colors, sort of. So that's the Harry Potter one. And then the other one you would have seen before if you've watched any of my older videos, but my other daughter is a big Game of Thrones fan. So for her, I did the Game of Thrones. And I have to be honest, I haven't watched Game of Thrones. Gasp, I know. So I don't know a lot about these characters. So I still just put us in at the end so that I could sign it, and I didn't want her to feel left out if I put Becca in on the Harry Potter one. I thought maybe I should put Claudia in that, but I don't know, in a show where everybody dies, maybe you don't want to be part of it. But anyway, she's there, I'm there, so I could sign it. So yeah, so those are my craft from the past, my other alphabets that I've done. So that's all I have to share today. Thank you all for stopping by. Until next time, see ya.